Placing third in the class is entry 199, Walton Yeager VV, exhibited by Emily and Craig Walton and Jean Yeager, Pleasant Plain, Ohio.
Leading out in third. She has so much more depth and spring to that rear rib than we have in the third place cow. The third cow over the 1 and 4th because of the way she handles the rear legs there. The thorough placement is more correct. The set to the side is more correct. And she's certainly stronger on those pasterns and nicer in those feet than we have in the 4th cow. Incredible individual, so tall, so stylish, so straight and long. It will be exciting to see her as she matures. I'm sure she's going to make another outstanding individual. The Ayrshire cow has a huge future, and these two are going to be a big part of it. What a pair of cows. This pair of cows, you could flip them either way. Everyone has their own preference, but I would just like to take either of them home with me. Just a wonderful representation of the Ayrshire breed leading out in this class. It is a very close placing.
For me, the cow that's winning the class just sorts herself to the top. She would be my second best udder if you gave a second best udder, but today I like her over the second cow. She's got more breed character, femininity about that head. She's longer and leaner about that neck. She moves out with more fluent and ease in that hind leg placement as viewed from the side. She just gives me more flex to that hock region. She's cleaner in that hock area. She's longer in her frame, silkier about the hide, more open in the rib, and has more style all the way.
Of the 32 junior 2-year-old cows, the winning entry was 1391. Can Do Daisy, shown by GlamourView, Yeager and Walton of Walkersville.
Cow in third. I just feel she more closely follows that kind, the cow ahead of her. She's just longer and leaner and cleaner in that neck. She's just more balanced in that frame. I just prefer the way she's moving out a little freer on those hind legs today. She's also leveler on that udder floor today than the cow in third. She has more top to that rear udder as well and a nicer shape to that udder today.
1422, Marhaven Minister Corona, shown by GlamourView, Yeager and Walton of Mockers.
A cow that I made best udder. She's just smoother in that fore udder and smoother at the top of the rear udder than a pair of cows ahead of her. Just maybe a little leveler in the udder floor. The third cow or the fourth cow, she's just wider chested, just has more motor up front. She's a harder loin cow. She just has more top to her rear udder today.
Entry number 45, Elliott's Comerica Sable E.T. Sired by Brydon Remake Comerica, bred by Ernie Kiefner, Boonesboro, Maryland, exhibited by GlamourView, Yeager and Walton, Walkersville, Maryland. Emily Walton is at the halter. Just a tremendous pair of cows at the top of the class today, and we're really splitting hairs with this pair of cows. But as I said before, it's this pair that came to the top of the heap for us quite handy. As you view these two cows, first cow, a little more correct in her mammary system. I like the way the teats set on her udder, just a little nicer size and shape to the teat, a little more top to her rear udder. And when you see them on the profile, the first cow's just about 6 inches longer throughout her entire body than the cow in second. However, I do admit the cow in second place maybe a little nicer through her loin, maybe a little more appropriate about her tail head. But when you weigh all the odds, the first cow just gets her in the mammary department.
Second over third, a bit of a closer placing. Cows both fresh relatively the same time, but our second place cow for us just has a little nicer turn and shape and volume all the way through that fore udder. She's a cow that's a little more massive all the way through that midsection today to place her over the cow in third. It's apparent the kind we like, strong, balanced cows, cows with awesome udders, cows that have the will to last, have lasted, and got the will to work. I love this pair of 4-year-olds. They're hard top, they're dairy, they're strong muzzled, they blend so well in their parts, and just tremendous udders on these. As I said in the class of the 4-year-olds, our reserve over honorable mention. For us today, she's just a more refined cow all the way through, a little more feminine through her front end, and has a distinct advantage of the cleanliness down through the bone in her rear leg today to go over the age cow for honorable mention. I think if you see from the heifers, the intermediate champions, your senior champions, they all fit that same pattern as we've been beaking about all day with having that strength, dairiness, openness, cows that have tremendous udders, cows that look like they work. There's some of you that maybe don't like these cows. Let us know. We'll get you an appointment at the Puzzle Factory because they're awesome cows. For us, boy, it's hard to deny these pair of 4-year-olds. They're just balanced, hard top cows all the way through. Great udders. In your intermediate, she's going to be the honorable mention. For us, just not the maturity of these other cows, just not quite the freedom of movement as those two 4-year-olds, but 3 wicked cows.
Beautiful pair of cows here in your 6 and over class. Tremendous uddered cows, and with that being said, quite a cow to win the class. Cow that's 8 years old, had 5 calves, a cow that's so dairy and angular, cow that still moves exceptionally well, and what a beautiful uddered cow. And for me, she's just a little bit more youthful in that udder today. She blends a little more smoothly into the body wall in her 4 udder attachment, and you get behind her, she's just a little bit more spring to both her just an outstanding group of cows all the way down here. I told a young man in second, she's quite a cow, but unfortunately for him, there's one that's really, really good right in front of him. The speckled cow come in, and you talk about a cow with tremendous rake presence, a cow that's got style to burn. She's dairy, she's angular, a cow that moves exceptionally well, and then you get to the best part about her. What a tremendous udder cow. And for me, you get behind her, she's just a little bit higher, a little bit wider, a little fuller at the top of the rear udder. It gives you the advantage over a cow coming along here in second. For your senior champion, this 4-year-old cow, like I said in her class, she really puts it all together. A cow that's got that tremendous combination of both dairiness and strength. She's a beautiful udder cow. She's a cow that moves exceptionally well. And that's what gives the advantage over our H cow today. That'll be your reserve senior champion. She's just a little bit more crease up through the rear quarter today. She's just a little more freer moving than the H cow. And she has this beautiful pair of senior champions, they'll be your grand champions today. They're a tremendous pair of cows. They fit together like a hand in a glove. They're beautiful uddered cows. They're beautiful frame cows. They're cows that move exceptionally well. They'll be your champions again today. And once again, I appreciate the opportunity. It's certainly, like I said when I started, it's been an honor. It's certainly a privilege to be here. Thank you very much. Congratulations once again to all the breeders and the exhibitors, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Love the depth, the openness, the angularity, the width, and the power, and that's why that third heifer goes over the 1 and 4.
Heifer in second, she's got that overall length. She's tighter up through the front end than the heifer that follows her out in third. And that's that overall length of body, particularly through the midsection, that gives her the advantage over the really stylish heifer that's following out.
Top 5 heifers here that I sorted out to the top are incredible. But the calf that's starting the class here today, she just quite handily sorts herself out to the first position. Today she's just a little longer and stretchier in her frame, just a little more feminine about that head, leaner in that neck, just a little more style and stretch there. Those high style pretty heifers. I've judged a lot of Jersey shows, and I've got 5 pulled out here. And I tell you what, I think all 5 of them could be junior champion at any big show that I've judged, that they're that good.
The heifer that follows out in third place. The heifer in third would just give her the advantage to be third here today over the 4th place heifer. She holds herself together a little nicer when she's in line. She's always hard on top. She's tight up through that front end. Those are the reasons she goes.
The heifer in second, you really admire that overall stretch to her frame and size and scale. She places over the heifer coming out next. She just shows me a little more openness to that rib. She's a little silkier about that hide, a little cleaner in that frame today. That deep rib, that square cut. Just wish she was maybe handling a little nicer today. She places over the heifer in fourth. When you get behind them, she just tracks quite a lot square. And when she's standing, she's a lot squarer on her hind legs viewed from the rear. She's just maybe a little more feminine up through that head neck area, a little cleaner in that neck, just a little sharper.
Third over fourth, I just feel our third place heifer fits the pattern of the two above her. She's extremely feminine and clean from end to end, shows that width and angularity, and it is her overall cleanliness, her bone quality refinement that places her over the heifer in fourth. Extremely feminine, high-style heifer here to lead out to the top end of the class. This heifer, for me, shows a bit more length, cleanliness, femininity all the way through up that head and neck. And she has a more distinct advantage when you get away from these heifers. I just prefer the set to that leg and the freedom of movement today to go over that second place heifer. With a tremendous amount of style, width, power, balance, openness. A heifer that for us puts it all together today. And it is that width, the spring and openness she has when you view her from the front or from behind today that places her over the heifer in second. Well, for us, it took a bit of talking. It ain't an easy decision. But this senior yearling, when you can get a heifer of senior yearling status and be that feminine, that clean all the way through, for us, that's where she's got the advantage over the senior calf. The senior calf, you love the squareness, the power, the balance, the openness. But for us today, not quite the dairy quality down through her bone or through her hide today to go up over the older senior yearling as your junior champion.
Well, just an exceptional class of December calves here, and I think we have 4 or 5 heifers that sort themselves to the top of the class. And with that being said, we have a heifer that rises to the top quite handily for me and Eddie today. She's a heifer you love, that balance, that angularity throughout. She's a heifer that moves exceptionally well on her hind legs, and it is that overall width, capacity of frame, width through her muzzle, width through her chest, and that width that she carries carries in her hind legs as she moves around the ring today. I prefer the heifer in first, right down through her foot. I prefer depth of heel or overall structure makeup to her leg today. She's a heifer that carries more width between her hocks as you see her move around the ring than another similar made heifer coming out here in second.